The Langtry Manor, a 27-bedroom, 3-star hotel in the resort town of Bournemouth. In the Howard family for over 30 years, it's run by Pamela Howard and her daughter Tara.
The hotel is our life. I can't imagine life without the hotel.
But all is not well. Profits have been plummeting and the hotel's future looks bleak.
Hopefully it'll never get to the stage that we will have to sell.
And the family business has become a tug-of-war between mother and daughter.
The reason why we put it in the back office is to get it out of everybody's way.
Tara,
yes, it needs tidying up.
just one minute.
But we need time in order to do that.
Do you
And it's
think
not
I can
always
get
going
a
to be.
word in edgeways?
Go ahead.
Enter Ruth Watson, award-winning hotelier and acclaimed cook, famous for her ability to salvage failing businesses. But can she referee this battle of wills?
There will have to be some compromises. I'm telling you here now, Tara, you cannot have it all.
The Langtry Manor Hotel, steeped in romance and history. King Edward VII built it as a love nest for his mistress, the actress and beauty Lily Langtry. 30 years ago, the house was bought by Pamela Howard. She fell in love with the building and its history and vowed to restore it to its former glory.
I really fell in love with it.
It had a warmth, it had an ambience, an atmosphere that just drew you in. And it wasn't just a building.
She gave the hotel an Edwardian theme, right down to traditional costumes for the staff. The Langtry's been her life's work. But despite finally handing over control of her baby to daughter Tara, Pamela is still keen to be part of the day-to-day running of the hotel. It's become a constant source of conflict.
Any family business is difficult, especially when somebody who's been running it semi-retires.
But their power struggle isn't the only problem.
Although takings have gone up, profits have gone down.
In fact, profits have dropped by half in the last 2 years, from 90,000 to just 44,000. Bournemouth is a mecca for all walks of English life. With more than 5.5 million visitors a year, there's plenty of business for hoteliers, yet the Langtry is struggling. Ruth Watson's come to investigate why the luxurious Edwardian hotel isn't making a killing.
It's a really fine Edwardian house. Don't know why they painted the bricks. Little thing about Lily Langtry lived here. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm Ruth Watson. I'm coming to see Tara, I think.
Okay, yeah. Would you like to take a seat in the withdrawing room and I'll let her know you're here?
Ruth. Oh, hello. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And you too. Hi.
Tara shows Ruth to the Edwardian banquet hall. She needs to brief Ruth on the real extent of the Langtry's troubles.
So, here we are in Bournemouth. Really rich area.
Yep.
Lots of business, should be. But things aren't going as well as you had hoped.
No.
Have you got a turnover that's going down year on year?
Turnover is going up,
Right.
but profitability is going down.
Ah, so you're spending too much.
Yes.
What percentage of turnover is your staff wages running at the moment?
It's between 40 and 45.
That's horrible.
Yes.
Do you think that you have control over this business?
I would say, yes, I do, but I think it's getting tough.
If I asked you now, how are you going to bring your wages budget into line with your turnover, what would your answer be?
What's your suggestion, Ruth?
I think that's very smart.
Ruth has clearly got her work cut out to turn this business around. 30 members of staff for a 27-room hotel are stifling any chance of profit. But to really understand what's dragging the Langtry down, Ruth needs to make a thorough assessment of the rooms.
Oh dear, this is a very poor room. This is not what this house demands, this room. It really isn't. It's like some elderly lady did it in sort of the 50s, early 60s.
Next for inspection, the Lily Langtry suite. one of the hotel's most prestigious rooms.
What is going on here? Is everyone demented where I go? You've got Victorian furniture, 4-poster bed, and in the bloody corner of the room is an avocado bath. Oh, for God's sake, I don't know. It's got nothing to do with this building. I just want to go and shoot some of these people. I don't know, why do they ruin these beautiful houses they own with this rubbish?
So Ruth's not keen on the old-fashioned bathrooms. But before she can draw any conclusions, she needs to road test a room.
For me, those blue velvet curtains don't really do it. Looking at those, I'm looking at the school play when I look over there, you know, and it's like the kindergarten, you know, primary school, all going to come out and do Hansel and Gretel or something.
Tara's booked her into the hotel's finest, the King Suite, which can cost up to £300 a night.
Did you choose this furniture? I find this kind of rather Victorian sort of pastiche rather than Edwardian.
I didn't choose that one, no, but it's...
Is that your mum?
Yes.
Ruth settles in, but her no-nonsense approach is about to ruffle feathers.
Chairmen do not do that, Pamela, and that's not your role. Whatever the financial strategy that has been agreed is being delivered by your daughter, who is the hotel manager.
And if she
director.
doesn't?
If she doesn't, you sack her.
The Langtry Manor, a 27-bedroom, 3-star hotel steeped in royal history, but it's in trouble. Low occupancy rates, high costs and tumbling profits are crippling the business. The hotel's feuding owners don't help. Tara may be the managing director, but her mother, Pamela, still keeps a tight hold on the hotel's reins, which is leading to conflict. They're both hoping that renowned hotelier Ruth Watson can help turn their ailing business around. Already, Ruth has identified staff costs are too high.
It's between 40 and 45.
That's horrible.
And that some of the rooms, especially bathrooms, look dated.
Is everyone demented where I go?
A night road testing the King's Suite, the hotel's finest room, hasn't improved matters.
6:20 this morning, big loud rattly noises. Don't know if it was beer barrels being moved around, but if I'd been paying 300 quid for this room, I'd be so jarred off. It just doesn't do it for me at all. The bathroom is such crap, it's not true. No shelving whatsoever. Can't put a single thing down. Not a single thing. Can't put a bottle of shampoo on a shelf. Nothing. A modern day woman wants to be able to actually use things properly.
Ruth needs to sample the Langtry's breakfast offering, a pivotal part of any hotel, especially one aiming at the higher end of the market.
Check on, chef.
Wow. A hugely generous helping. Be very interested to know their costings on this. It's fine, it could be an awful lot worse than that. On the whole, I don't think there's anything to worry about this breakfast. I think they do a pretty good job, and I'm sure most customers are very happy with it.
But despite the decent breakfast, Ruth still has some concerns about the restaurant.
The thing that I want to talk to you about is this room. I do have a problem with this table, the way it's laid out. Now, to me, this is not just... It's not elegant, it's not classic, it's kind of just dated.
Right.
I see rather sort of fusty Victorian style, but not even real Victorian style chairs. I hate these undercloths with this kind of red crinkly velvet thing going on, and I really, really loathe these burgundy napkins.
Right.
I think it just looks like sort of rather Trust House 40, 1982.
So Ruth wants to see new table settings that are more in keeping with a modern restaurant.
You're a young, modern, you know, fabulously dressed-looking young woman. When I see you and this, it's kind of like I'm looking at two different things.
This is all I've ever known. And, you know, we had the lace tablecloths that were terribly dated, and I was even nervous to change those. And it could be that I'm just too scared to make the step, or just not strong enough to battle with my mother on it.
I think it's a combination between you're not strong enough in your own taste and opinion and style that you would be able to say without any outside interference, Mum, you're absolutely wrong, this is bloody wonderful, I love it, you know. But the way to gain strength is to really know what you're doing. She will respect you then, because you will know what you're doing. You knowing makes you strong.
Yes.
Ruth has asked Tara's mum Pamela, the hotel's owner, to show her the Langtry's secondary building, home to a further 12 rooms. It's a chance to find out more about her relationship with Tara and its effect on the business.
So is this typical of one of the rooms that you... Did you do this one up?
Yes.
Yes? So
Yes.
How long ago would this have been?
This would be about 6, 7 years ago.
Right, OK. It's very country house, isn't it? That's your style,
Yes.
is it? Can we
Yes.
just take a look in the bathroom? Because I'd like to see...
Yes, you're not going to like the
OK,
bathroom.
I'm not going to... OK. Aha. Is this all new?
No.
Good. Good. It's utterly repulsive. I'm really sorry about that.
But next door there's a surprise for Ruth. Tara has gone behind her mother's back and ordered a radical makeover of room 39.
Oh.
Here we are.
Now, is this news to you too?
This is news to me too. Tara did this without consulting me.
Right. And is that a problem?
It has been. I do have a little bit of worry about
Yeah.
the fact that she goes bombing ahead.
You know, you've got two strong women, both wanting the hotel to work.
Yes, well, we both do. And
Yeah. I mean, people always say never work with your friends because they soon turn into your enemies. And, you know, it's pretty much the same with families, isn't it?
if you're not very careful, you'll split the family.
Yes, yeah, which is the
And
last
I want
thing
to be
one wants
careful.
Yes, no, absolutely.
The lodge is a perfect example of the gulf that exists between mother and daughter. While Tara wants to refurbish the rooms completely, Pamela would prefer to maintain the decor that she designed herself. If they're ever going to work together, Ruth is going to have to sort out their differences. Last on Ruth's list to inspect is the kitchen. The hotel restaurant could be a rich source of income for the Langtry, but it only has one AA rosette to its name. Despite Tara and Chef Matt's efforts, they've twice failed to take the step up to 2 rosettes. Most of their fine dining dishes include 5 or 6 main ingredients, and the menu is full of French terminology.
First glance, this menu is quite complicated. I would expect a pretty proficient team to be able to produce this kind of food. I don't know whether head chef has got that kind of team. I think he's in the kitchen. I'm going to go and see. Hello, who's head chef?
Hi, hello.
Hiya.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, you're
Matt Clements?
Hello,
Yeah,
and I'm
hi.
Ruth. Now, I mean, I've been looking at the menu, and it's quite ambitious,
Yeah.
quite complex. I would look at this menu and immediately think, is the kitchen up to it? And I'd probably start to eat fairly defensively and pick the most simple dishes that I thought you can. I would like to possibly see you come up with something, say, take out 1 or 2 elements from each dish.
Yeah.
We've got to know that when you're not here,
Exactly, yeah.
because when that AA guy comes in and is looking to see whether you can go from 1 rosette to 2, and the souffle doesn't hit the mark,
That's right, yeah.
you're another year.
I know, yeah. Totally agree.
So Matt's challenge is to make the menu simple, seasonal and straightforward in order to impress the restaurant inspector on his next visit.
So it would be just.
But with
crazy
Ruth
to
busy in the
start all
kitchen,
over
she's
again.
powerless to prevent a
let's
clash
do
of wills
compromise.
in
We
reception.
go ahead with that refurb.
Unhappy about the
As
refurbishment of room
you didn't know,
39 in the
you knew,
lodge,
and I quite
Pamela has
understand it
just
would cost
learned
a
that
lot
Tara
of
has also
starting
rescheduled
again.
work in room
Can we
40.
arrange-
I wouldn't have agreed to 40 anyway.
Because you don't think it needed to be done?
I think there were other things that were more important.
So, in your mind, what was more important?
Things that need doing to the existing rooms, that
Right.
maintenance-wise,
Right.
there's all sorts of things.
And what's your take on that, Tara?
My take is that we've got to do all of those things, most certainly, but you can't do them at the expense of not refurbishing rooms that badly need refurbishing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's one of those things that will never go away. It will never be the time where there are not little things
No,
to do.
of course there won't. So, what's your solution, Pam?
My solution is to get the things done that were listed.
Yeah.
We've got them
You
listed.
have got them listed.
Yes, and we haven't stopped doing this.
Yeah.
Well,
No, there's a bit of disbelief here.
We postponed doing them
Okay.
in order to do
Could
them.
you find it in your heart to stave off doing the new refurbishment in order to allow the maintenance man to get that list done. I know there will be new things to add to the list, but at least your
There
mum...
has been a lot of my time that's gone into organising this. If I cancel it now,
Right.
then it's a waste of my time,
Okay.
and my time is very valuable.
Right, let's do a compromise. We go ahead with that refurb, you accept it with good grace, but then you make sure that the minute that's done, your maintenance man is programmed to hit that list.
Yes.
Yes? Could we do that? With grace and dignity and a smile from each other.
I do smile. Am I not sure?
Give your daughter a big hug, because you know you love each other.
We do.
Tempers soothed, it's time for Ruth to deliver her verdict. First up, the inflated staff wage bill.
To me, the most glaringly obvious thing that's wrong with the business side of things, as opposed to the personnel side of things, is that your staff wage cost is far too high for your current turnover.
We have 27 rooms and we have 30 members of staff. But I would never want the service to the customer to suffer.
No, I'm not asking you to diminish it in any way, shape or form. But I can tell you now that if you carry on with a 43% staff wage thing, you are not going to succeed. It's quite simple. It's just going to wipe you out.
Next, Ruth wants to establish who's really in charge.
One of the things that leapt out of the page was how many managers there are. And it caused me to start thinking about who actually runs the business, who actually has ultimate responsibility, who's holding the reins together, who is doing that.
Well, I should be doing it.
Right. Now, why should you be doing that if Tara is managing director of the company? Why isn't Tara saying it should be me doing this? What we've got to try and do is establish some sort of working structure where you both have your space and your remit and both of you respect that and respect each other's roles in this business.
But how do we deal with when Mother has her little niggles and she wants to...
She's not allowed to.
Tara, it's the little niggles that make me a bit cross.
But that's what I'm saying. If you've got the niggles, I don't want you going to anybody else. I need you coming to me.
Then I need to know that you deal with them, but very often if you don't agree, you don't deal with it.
Well, because the back office, for example, you don't seem to consider
People
the fact that
hate
we've put things in the back
Tara,
office for a good reason.
Tara.
The reason why we put it in the back office is to get it out of everybody's way.
Tara,
yes, it needs tidying
just
up,
one
but
minute.
we need time in order to do that.
Do you
And it's
think
not
I can
always
get
going
a
to
word in edgeways?
Go ahead.
Do you actually have a desk or a working space in the back office?
No.
In that
it
case-
used to be the only office we
In that
ever
case,
had.
Pamela, it's nothing to do with you whatsoever. Stay out of the back office, right? Stay out of it. Nothing to do with you. That is just you as a human being an old bag, okay? And this is why you're top heavy on management, but nobody's actually running the business properly because you won't let go of it, and Tara isn't confident enough to say, Mum, shut up, I can do this, okay? Chairmen do not do that, Pamela, and that's not your role, okay? Your role is to make sure that whatever the financial strategy that has been agreed is being delivered by your daughter, who is the hotel manager and managing director. If she doesn't, you sack her, right?
I can't.
Yeah, you can.
I
Of course you
can't.
can.
I don't
She doesn't
want to.
have to. You don't want to, that's another matter. I suggest you set yourself a target of 18 months or something for Tara to come up to what you regard as scratch and achieving all the targets that you've all agreed.
And if Tara does something behind my back, spends
Tara's
money
not
behind
going
my
to do
back,
that because this is part of the deal, right? And I think I've talked myself out now, for the moment.
So Ruth wants Pamela and Tara to sit down with the rest of the family and thrash out exactly where the business is going. She thinks they need to stick to a structure instead of the ad hoc way they've done things in the past.
I think Ruth has come up with some really good thoughts and ideas. I would love to have some structure.
providing we're prepared to do what she says, I think we may go forward.
Days later, it's time for the Edwardian banquet, held every Saturday night in the Langtry restaurant. After Ruth's advice that Pamela stay out of the day-to-day running of the business, it's a good test for the Howards' new regime.
Good evening, we have the Saturday night Edwardian banquet, which is actually something quite special and quite different. Each course is brought round for you to see and choose, all the staff in Edwardian costume, the Edwardian music is playing, and you feel like you're taken back in time.
Tara waits to greet her guests in reception, under her mother's watchful eye.
Oh, Chris, I've just come in to check the radiators are off because it gets so hot in here. Fine, well done. Already done.
As managing director, Tara is the boss, but Pamela can't resist keeping her hand in, despite Ruth's advice.
Do you think we could have a little more different heights on the hors d'oeuvre table?
I'll look into that, get it done for you.
Could you?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much. I'll ask Stephen to raise the hors d'oeuvre table to different levels.
Oh, okay then.
He's fine.
Okay, thanks.
We've got the hot dish coming out here.
Yeah.
Getting the family working in harmony is clearly a long way off. So Ruth has sent Tara and Pamela to Winchester to view a stylish, modern hotel that's retained its building's period charm.
Shall we go in?
It's also a chance for Tara and her mother to spend some time together outside the confines of their hotel.
Lovely old staircase. Very tasteful.
It's quite with it, isn't it?
Yes.
The Courvoisier room.
Oh.
I like this.
Oh, the bath in the room.
It's a good example of how a period building can be charming without being chintzy. The bedrooms combine the traditional feel with functionality and luxurious touches. Tara's also booked a table for lunch at the hotel's Two Rosette restaurant. Ruth wants Tara to update her own tables, so their simple settings should provide inspiration.
I'm not enamoured of the water glasses.
I like the wine glass.
The wine glasses are lovely. I would be worried about all the marks on the table, but as it's a bistro and not us, perhaps that's acceptable.
But you do have the distressed look, which is a bit like what we've got.
Yes, well, I'm not so keen on that. I think
Don't I know it?
I haven't had a go at you about it, so don't pretend I have.
Good afternoon. Oh, thank you very much. A bit different,
That's
isn't
the
it?
haddock.
Now I need to taste it.
I like the vegetables. The vegetables all look very different.
I think this is the sort of thing we can do in the hotel, don't you?
Oh, I do.
Perhaps be a little bit more casual with the food, but make it better.
Harmony at last, but is the mother-daughter relationship about to take a turn for the worse?
Going back on me in these things. I cannot do Tara, this. Don't talk to Room 31 has been scheduled. Tara!
The Langtry Manor in Bournemouth. Owned by Pamela Howard and run by her daughter Tara, it's a real family concern. But its future is threatened by behind-the-scenes squabbles.
Just one
But we
minute.
need time in order to do that.
Do you
and it's
think
not
I can
always
get
going
a
to
word in edgeways?
be. Go ahead.
One source of conflict has been the style of the rooms. Tara wants to refurbish, but Pamela would prefer to maintain the rooms in their current state.
Yeah.
We've got them
You have
listed.
got them listed.
Yes, and we haven't stopped doing this.
Yeah.
Well,
They've called on award-winning hotelier Ruth Watson to help preserve the family's future. Her mission is to steer the Langtry back towards profit by rebranding the restaurant.
I do have a problem with this table. It's not elegant, it's not classic, it's kind of just dated.
But her biggest challenge is to find a structure that allows Tara and her mother to work together in harmony.
Pamela, it's nothing to do with you whatsoever. That is just you as a human being an old bag, okay?
Motivated by her visit to the Hôtel du Vin, a period building with a modern feel, Tara has decided to set about large-scale refurbishment, including the restaurant's table settings, the bathroom with the chocolate suite, and room 39, formerly decorated by her mother.
This is definitely the next priority. The wallpaper is not as good as it should be, and I'm not very proud of it.
well, as I designed it, I like it.
I know that if my mother was involved in it, she wouldn't go for what I'm going for, and there would be a big fight. So that's why I'm trying to do it without her input. I'd like to use this wallpaper on the back wall, and then this would be the soft furnishing, so the bedding and the curtains. I would do the headboard with a trim to match this colour here, and I think it would look really nice.
Do you prefer this white to that brown?
But Pamela's not happy about the work being done.
Some of the rooms she's doing, I don't think are as urgent as maybe other things that we have to do. The general maintenance in the hotel is something that takes a lot of time and effort. We have had a little bit of a disagreement about room 39. Tara, I want the other things done first, please.
We had a meeting in which you agreed to this. I've got it scheduled. Don't do this.
No.
We had a meeting. You agreed.
I did not. I
Yes,
agreed
you said,
to
what
room
have you
6.
got? No, what have you got scheduled? I said, I've got room 31, room 14 I can hold off until next time. You keep on going back on me in these things. I cannot do
Tara,
this.
don't talk to
Room
me like that,
31
please.
has been scheduled.
Tara, don't talk to me
Well,
like
then
that.
don't start telling me I can't do something that you've agreed to.
We're trying to raise the standard of the whole hotel. Well, I'm trying to raise the standard of the whole hotel. It's against a fight, but I'm willing to make that fight.
And then after that,
said
14.
after 6 I could have my things done that I thought were urgent.
You said you didn't want to do 39 at the previous meeting. I said to you, as soon as the season hits, there'll be no more refurbs. I said, this is the last one. Come on, have a look. All of this
nothing to what's in some of our better rooms
All of
that
this
you've
stuff is
already
being done.
refurbished. Nothing. That is nothing.
Mrs. Howard needs to take into consideration that some of the things that Ruth has said, that there's certain things she needs to let me get on with. Because if there's too much interference, we just go round in circles and nothing gets done.
I feel that I haven't been interfering, as you call it, enough.
Relations have sunk to an all-time low, so Ruth returns to try to restore the peace.
So how's it been since I saw you? Because we were talking about roles.
Yes.
Do you think that's been any kind of success or not?
I would say it's not been a complete success.
Okay. Are we going to have, or have you had the meeting, the big meeting to really determine what's going to happen?
Tara has been really pushed up.
Okay.
And we haven't been able to do it.
I want a situation where you've all agreed, you being chairman and majority
Yes.
shareholder, Tara being MD, right? What are your functions? What are your jobs? At the moment, she has all the responsibility, but none of the authority, because you've still kept the authoritarian bit.
No, I'm sorry, I don't agree with
Okay, I feel that I've stirred up a hornet's nest, and unfortunately, I haven't put the pacifying spray in yet.
Ruth has heard Pamela's side of the story. Now she wants to hear Tara's version of events.
How have your mum and you been getting on?
It has been a bit tense.
Do you think she has in any way lessened her, let's just call it interference?
I think she's actually more involved than she was before.
Wes.
Yes.
Right, shall I go now? Can I ask you something? Because we haven't really been this clear about things, but if it was an impossible situation, I mean, would you be prepared to walk away and say, all right, Mum, just get on with it, get a manager, I'm not having anything to do with it?
There's a possibility that it could get like that, yes.
Yeah. One of the things I want to talk to you about, because this is your role and your domain, is this business about the staff. I don't care which way you cut it, you are employing too many staff or you're paying them too much money.
To actually get rid of anybody would be awful for staff morale to start with, and I think that we can get there by doing it, tweaking at the bottom, rather than
Tweaking which bit at the bottom?
making people work more efficiently.
Having 10% more staff wages than you should be paying out, your efficiency should be so bloody fantastic it shouldn't need any tweaking at all.
It's clear that despite Ruth's advice, Tara doesn't want to cut staff, so she'll have to find ways of raising their profits instead. One potential source is the restaurant, but Ruth was less than impressed by the fussy table settings. She set Tara the task of giving the room a modern feel. Ruth also wanted them to reach a broader clientele by improving the look and content of the menu, thereby gaining a second rosette.
But look at this, look at this, look at this. Do you like it?
Of course I like it.
But do you like it better? Do you think it's an improvement?
I think it's lovely. I love the modernness. I love the cleanness of it. I think it goes beautifully with the room. You've got the fancy bits up here, but you've got a modern twist on it that shows we're with it, we're up to date. Your food will be up to date and modern, your service will be up to date and modern, but you're also going to enjoy a fabulous ambience. And I think these chairs are dead sexy.
Yeah. And you know what I really like, which is interesting, because you always had these lilies, didn't you?
Yes.
You know, you never noticed them very much before. They look very kind of modern with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, they do.
And I think they actually work far better. I also think, very importantly, that it does suggest the food is going to be modern and, you know, sensible and not some kind of horrible school dinner kind of thing. Talking of which, I'm going to be eating here tonight, but I don't want Matt to know. Okay. We've now got to show your mum this, haven't we?
Can I go? Can you just do that bit?
Mrs. Howard has always been resistant to change, so the modern table setting may well be a step too far.
Hello, Pam. We've got a surprise for you.
You've got a surprise for me. I love surprises.
See what you think.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you think?
I think
I've got goose
it's so different to what I've always been used to, but I do like it. Oh, that's lovely.
Do you like it?
Yes, I do like it.
She likes it.
So the new look table settings have passed muster. But what about the changes Ruth wanted to instigate in the kitchen? Ruth had asked the chef to simplify the menu, so she's decided to sample his progress for herself.
I'd asked Matt if he could simplify the a la carte because I thought it was not very well balanced and, you know, a bit unseasonal as well, and perhaps was putting too much pressure on the kitchen, particularly when he wasn't there. So I think that represents a good selection of food. I don't think it's too demanding for the kitchen, but I think it's interesting enough for the customer. Overall, I think this menu is quite good looking.
What would Madam like to start with, please?
Right, first of all, Madam doesn't want to be called Madam, and not because I'm called Ruth, but because I think it's a very old-fashioned way to talk to women. Anyway, very nice looking menu. The chicken liver parfait, so that'd be good. And then, please, may I have the fillet of brill?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
In the kitchen, Chef Matt is unaware of Ruth's order.
Ready to rock and roll then, boss?
When the official inspector comes, Matt won't know, so Ruth wants to test his consistency.
Aha, the lady herself. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's nice pink. This is not bad cooking. It's not great cooking, but it's not bad cooking. Thank you very much. That looks very nice. And I think that looks really, really pretty. I can smell the chervil coming off from the plate, a little bit of spring onion in there, and I think it looks very attractive. It's really nice, fresh springtime dish. I think he's done a good job here.
Hi, Chef. Table 5 with Mrs. Watson this evening. All right, excellent.
Having created a simple seasonal menu and some great tasting dishes, Ruth believes Matt is finally ready for the real restaurant inspector to pay a visit. But he'll have to keep up the quality. The assessment could happen any time, and the inspector will remain anonymous till after the meal. The following morning, Ruth has decided it's time to take Tara and Pamela's working relationship in hand. Despite advising them to hold a meeting to discuss the hotel's future, they failed to talk things through. Ruth has called the entire board together, away from the hotel, at Pamela's nearby apartment.
Okay, I've asked everyone to this extraordinary general meeting because I thought it'd be a really good idea to get all the board, more or less, around the table, because there is the issue of Tara and her mother and the roles in the business and the fact that there's this constant loving friction going on. Key issues are this business of Pamela coming in, to Tara's mind, interfering, Pamela thinking, no, I'm not interfering, I'm actually concerned about issues of this business that I don't think are being run correctly. Denham, do you think your mother is interfering too much at the moment on a daily basis?
I think there are great temptations for her to come in and be part of the operation on a daily basis. And I understand those temptations entirely.
As do I.
It has always been, and it still is to an extent, your baby.
What am I supposed to do if I come in and see that light bulbs are gone?
There should just be a snag list for the maintenance man, and when something like that comes up, somebody writes it on the
But that's
list.
the problem. The maintenance man's too busy on grand jobs, and he's not concentrating on the day-to-day
I think
maintenance.
part of the problem is that we will come up sometimes with a strategy to move forward, but Mrs. Howard, as the chairman, will overrule what we've come up with.
No, Tara, that is not true. I was asked, in fact, the whole board was asked to go round and look at the rooms and see what urgently needed to be done to them. And I made the list, and I gave the list to you.
Yes, which is being dealt with. Thank you.
If you want to carry on being at each other's throats, spending so much wasted time with all this internal bickering, then that's your privilege. If you want to change the pattern, break the mould, you're going to have to do something about it. There will have to be some compromises. I'm telling you here now, Tara, you cannot have it all. It's bullshit if you're not going to be profitable. Because if you're not going to be profitable, at the end of the day, you sell. Because at some stage, somebody says there's no more money here, right? You have to have some kind of business sense here. What can't happen is for you to be every day going in, picking them up, making fuss with the staff, doing whatever.
I'm sorry, I have been so careful not to do that.
Okay.
There are some things that come up again and again and again.
All of a maintenance nature.
Of a maintenance nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
You cannot keep playing the same old record, Pamela. We know about the maintenance problem. We've discussed the maintenance problem and we've discussed how it's going to work, right? You've got to stop. You've got to let her get on with it until the next monthly meeting, where you then can say legitimately to Tara, how did that list of actions? And Tara will report back to you how it went. But you cannot on a daily basis keep checking on her. You're doing your head in. You've got to at least try this new system. And I would say, can you give it to Christmas to see whether this will work? If Tara doesn't produce the goods, and you guys are witness, if by your December meeting, your mother has legitimate claim to say these issues are still not being dealt with, the maintenance is not being kept on top of, you have to have a go at Tara, because who is she employing that isn't doing the job? Is that not fair?
Ruth has left the Howards with a structure to move the business forward. Whether they can put it into practice remains to be seen.
Ruth made some very strong points, and I think she was absolutely right.
As a board of directors, I think we need to make sure that Mrs. Howard is listening to what's being said now, and that we keep reminding her of it.
I think the fact that we're going to have a structured meeting once a month instead of the niggles here, there and everywhere is going to be fantastic.
We've just got to find a way that we can get over this business of arguing.
Hopefully we won't have the Margaret Thatcher syndrome, where she thinks that she is right and nobody else is.
When Ruth returns, can the restaurant finally achieve the coveted second rosette?
Tara, sitting somewhere over there, is the official inspector for restaurants.
You crafty cow!
And will the inspector think more of Matt's cooking than Ruth does?
How the f*** are you going to eat it? It's just a nonsense. I'm going to send that back.
For the past 4 months, Ruth Watson has been trying to steer the Langtry Manor Hotel out of financial trouble. Owner Pamela and daughter Tara have been at loggerheads for years, but Ruth has imposed a new way of working that she hopes will allow them to see eye to eye.
Cannot keep playing the same old record, Pamela. You've got to stop. You've got to let her get on with it until the next monthly meeting.
The process of upgrading the bathrooms has begun. The chocolate brown suite has been replaced with a more modern 21st century look. The transformation complete, Ruth has returned.
How are you?
Very
all
good,
right?
thank you.
Good. How are things going?
Very good indeed.
Yes?
Yeah, Mother's behaving herself.
Yes, and you too? Not just Mum?
Of
Yes.
course, as if I don't always.
Last time I came, there was a little ruckus about room 39.
The Salisbury? Yes.
I think I ought to go and see that with her because I haven't seen the finished thing.
Neither has she.
No? Is she around?
Yes.
Room 39 is the most controversial room in Tara's campaign of refurbishment. This will be the first time Pamela has seen it in its new incarnation.
Aha! Now, I haven't seen this, Pamela. I saw it halfway through.
Neither have I. It's so different. Very different. I like it.
Well, I think this room is really good. It's still quite trad, but I think it actually just looks fresher, and I love the colour on the walls and the wallpaper.
Yes, so do I.
So I think she's done a good job.
I think she has too.
Yeah?
I think she has.
But most importantly, this room was the source of a great fracas about whether it had or had not been budgeted and should and shouldn't not have been done. And I think we agreed to let Sleeping Lions lie, didn't we, on that one? But is your voice being heard in a structured, proper way rather than a nagging mother kind of way?
Yeah, I think we're well on the way.
Good.
Well on the way.
Good.
So it seems that Ruth's monthly meetings have helped Pamela and Tara finally learn how to work together. But there's still one outstanding issue at the Langtry, the restaurant's campaign to win a second AA rosette.
By the way, cheers. So nice business, this. Thank you.
Ruth has invited Tara to dinner to sample the chef's work and see if it's still up to scratch. But what neither Tara or Chef Matt know is that Ruth has also invited the official food inspector to secretly assess the restaurant. It's vital that everything goes well.
Thank you very much. That looks lovely. And let me see, that looks pretty. How the are you going to eat it in that little bowl? That's a piece of meat which needs a stable surface, right? Watch, right? That is just a nonsense. I'm going to send that back. Could you say to Matt, from Ruth, this is a ridiculous plate to put a piece of roast meat on, and can he put it on a plate more suitable for cutting?
Chef all right with that? Yeah.
I don't care if he wasn't. Just tell him.
Between courses, Ruth comes clean.
Right, Tara, sitting somewhere over there is the official inspector for restaurants.
Really? You crafty cow!
Yeah. Okay.
Do that to me.
And I just hope that he's had a nice dinner.
Yes, me too.
The inspector can award from 1 to 5 rosettes, with 5 being the best in the country. Everything will be under scrutiny. The service, the choice and clarity of the menu, the ambience, and of course, the food itself.
And I'm just concerned that he will say this is a very good 1 rosette, and I'm not sure about the 2 rosettes. And that's my personal opinion on what I've eaten tonight. Now, God willing, he has had a marginally better meal than I've had over there and might be saying something else.
Oh, you bad girl, you.
It's time for the inspector to reveal himself and his verdict. Will Ruth's improvements have made a difference, or will the restaurant fail again at the 3rd time of asking?
The question has to be, did you enjoy your meal?
It was very enjoyable indeed.
Yeah.
And I'd tell you why I was so surprised, enjoyably surprised, because I went on to your website this morning and you've still got your old menu on.
Ah!
I read it and I thought, ooh, not very seasonal, complicated. I wonder what's going on here.
Yeah.
But as soon as I opened the menu tonight, it read freshly, simply, seasonally. There were lots of choices which looked interesting on it without being too clever. So that meal overall is a 2 rosette meal that we've had. The clarity, the lack of fuss, the quality of the ingredients, there's no reason why that your kitchen team and yourself shouldn't win 2 rosettes.
Fantastic!
So the restaurant is a success. Now it's time for Ruth, Tara and Pamela to have one last chat.
I'm really knocked out and I have to say utterly amazed at the fact that you have had a meeting, that you do appear to have made some progress about trying to separate mother and daughter from your business relationship with each other. The thing to remember is when it starts to go awry, instead of just regressing back into that, you said that, all that sort of stuff, right? You must... Yeah. Do you feel that you can continue to do this?
Yes, I do. I think if we continue along the way that we've been going with the new format that you've set up for us, I think it's possibly a winning formula.
Pamela? Yes?
I agree.
Can we have another hug? What I really love is the fact that we've got this mother and daughter who were at loggerheads most of the time, you know, really driving each other mad. And now they have found a mechanism to talk to each other about the business. I hope they can still stay with that, because that is what is going to make them happy. I feel I've done my job.